Good evening, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for Sunday, the 10th of November. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn for it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, on the hourly chart, on ES, we've got 60-minute sell signal fixed. Of course, we've already made a new high since we did that. This market has been, since the election, this has been trending. There have been hardly any retracements. We've had negative divergence for a couple of trading days, and it's not turned yet. I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to see a retracement soon. However, in a strongly trending move, you have to wait really till it finds a high before it does that. This could be it. It could be it needs to get a little bit higher. I've got a lot more to say about this on the daily chart. Okay, looking at NQ, week 60-minute sell signal fixed. Retest this high, we'd have a full size one brewing as well. Potential setup for a retracement here, but again, it'll actually have to turn to see that. In terms of the RTY, we already had a 60-minute sell signal. Nice looking potential double top here, which is, if we retest this high here, would be a potential nested double top. Looks like it wants a retrace here, but again, we'll have to see. The last two markets, the last 2 days of trading have been very, very strong in the face of negative divergence. A very strong trending move is hard to call where it's going to stop. I mean, on a trend day, for instance, really, it might turn, but sometimes it just needs to wait till the end of the day. In terms of YM, week 60-minute sell signal fixed, full size one is brewing. If we see a reversal, then we'll have, if we see a decent reversal here, we'll have full sell signals across the board on all of the indices here. But again, it looks as though it might retrace. We'll see whether it actually does. That's the US indices. Really, last week's spike didn't happen at all on the European indices. So we're still sort of trading sideways here. And ESTX, I would note that in the context of what we're looking at overall, this is a slightly concerning looking bull flag. And it's not a bad bull flag. This may actually play out to the upside, and this may be the harbinger of more upside on American indices as well. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, on SPX on the daily chart, we're reaching, I've got a possible trend line here, which we've almost reached, but not quite. And I've got that currently up in about the 60-35 area. If we go through it, then the next obvious resistance would be here, which I've got in about the 6100 area, I think. We will see how that goes. New weekly pivot is at 5901. I'm sending out all the pivots with the webinar, so you have those for next week. In terms of the hourly chart, got negative divergence here, and this is one trend line which is breaking, which is not a surprise. I was expecting that. 15-minute chart, we've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and we've been making new highs while we've been not going down. So the question is it going to go down? If it does, then a decent retracement might get us back into a retest of this high here in the 58.78 area, which actually isn't that far away from this open breakaway gap, which I'd be expecting to hold for quite a while in all probability. All right, looking at NDX on the Qs. Higher, no obvious trendline resistance, no divergence on the daily chart, because of course we would have to have a decent retracement and then a retest to get one. 60-minute chart, no current diversions. 15-minute chart, we've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and it's nice. No obvious trendline resistance here. I have drawn in a number of options. Obviously, we blew straight through the first one. We are testing and breaking slightly the second one. I've got a third one above it. Looking at Dia, we've reached a possible resistance trend line here, and it's quite a nice one, actually, and that's more or less an exact touch. I am wondering if this might hold. It's a nice trend line. We will see, and certainly we are due for some retracement soon. On the hourly chart, we've got a possible weak RSI 14 sell signal brewing, got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed. It does look as though it wants to turn. On the 15-minute, we've still got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. Obviously, last 2 days, really, we've just been grinding up through all resistance. All right, looking at the IWM chart, on the daily chart, we've got an old RSI 14 sell signal fixed, which basically I'm just ignoring at this stage. But we've had this strong move up. We've got to new highs. I've got a trend line here, which I'm watching, which is not too far above. I've got that in the 239.5 area to 240 area. On the hourly chart, no current divergence. Although on a retest of the high, we would get some. And 15-minute, again, we got an RSI 14 cell signal fixed, and it's not gone anywhere yet. On DAX, we're still trying to get through the daily middle band. I mean, really, this move has been very, very absent on the non-US indices. Although we've got a bit more action on Nikkei. Could this still be a double top or very, very spiky head and shoulders forming? Yes, but there's no particular reason to think that it is. We'll see. My expectation is that we're probably going to be, we'll see some retracement, but we're probably going to be seeing more upside into Christmas. So we will see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at the CL chart. Okay, CL, we're forming a very nice looking double top here, and I think this may well play out and take us back into the 67 area. As I said, President Trump is coming in January, and his intention is to throw on the taps and make life easier for everyone by making energy easier. This is not bullish for oil prices at all. So I've got a target down at a retest of the low at 63.57, and honestly, I'm wondering if it might go lower, but we will see. We've got pretty good support there, and we'll see. I'd be thinking we might be starting a bullish run from there, but within 2 months, Trump is going to be inaugurated president, and energy policies are really going to change. NG, I'm still wondering about a retest of the low in the February to May area. I think that's what I wrote on the chart. That's when the seasonal low comes in natural gas. It could be that we're going to break up beyond that, but again, Trump is promising to increase natural gas production. That is not likely to be that promising, that great for natural gas prices. Although, if we do get down to 1.52, it's such a strong level that I am thinking we'd hold it, and we've got a very, very possible second low of a double bottom there. We will see. All right, look at those on the bigger picture charts. Bear with me a moment. All right, CL. No current divergence. Basically, we're still looking at the same triangle and the same target, which is a 63.57. We're back over the daily middle band, which is being tested again at the and the 50 DMA, which is being tested again at the close on Friday. But I'm not optimistic. And certainly Trump being elected was not bullish for oil prices or natural gas prices. We've got an open target down at 63.57, and I'm not really seeing any reason at all to think that won't be made. So we will see. Looking at natural gas, no current divergence. We are holding below the daily middle band, although if you then switch it over to the nat gas index chart, because of the huge roll at the end of last month with this 50-cent rise, we're actually still over the daily middle band there. I'm thinking we may well be heading lower into this triangle support down in the 2.1 area, but we'll have to see how it goes. Short term, I've got nothing much in the way of divergence to call it one way or the other. What I would note is in a couple of weeks, in about 2 weeks, we've got another roll which will take this up another 30 cents, and that is the last of the big winter rolls, which will be pushing up prices. Unless this could be an opportunity for this to break higher, possibly reach one of these trend lines above, both of which could be bear flag resistance trend lines, but we will see how it goes. Supply and demand will likely tell the story. All right, so let's have a look at GC. Now, GC has got uncomfortably high and has let off some steam. We had a head and shoulders here. It made target. Could this go lower? Yes. I've got a 60-minute buy signal here short term, which has reached the possible near miss target, so I'm disregarding that. But I am thinking this might go lower as part of this correction. And I've got more to say about the dollar as well, of course, which will have an impact on that. On silver, this could be a bull flag forming, or we may be coming down to this possible head and shoulder line here. Again, I've got a better view of this on the bigger picture charts. I don't think the upside is done on precious metals, but we might see a decent retracement here. HG, we had this lovely flag here, which I posted, and we broke down, retested the low. There's a possible double bottom here, but it's at the moment it's not showing any particular sign of breaking up. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. Right, gold. Gold reached this trend line here and got slightly over it. I am wondering, well, this is the last serious trend line resistance that we've got. Over this, we head off into what would be be more like a blue sky area here, where really it would just find a high where it found a high. How are we looking? Well, on the monthly chart, it's had a very strong 2024, so we're looking very overbought, and really the monthly RSI is as high as it's been anywhere on this chart. Not quite as high as it was here back in 1980, but I think that was the last time, and we had a big high in about 2008. But these are the two highest RSI highs on these. Was either of those a big high? That wasn't. 1980 was, but we will see. So I'm not expecting to see a big high here. My feeling is that we've still got higher to go on gold. All right, looking at the shorter term chart. We've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and this is one reason I'm thinking this might go lower. These do actually have a pretty good track record. This one here failed, but this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, all made target. They're not as certain as the RSI 5 sell signals, which we had, and that one's already made target. But I am wondering if it might deliver more downside, and I'm watching for a potential topping pattern to form. Looking at silver, no divergence, although if we saw a retest of this low, we could set up some positive divergence on the daily RSI 5. Same picture on the main silver chart. We got through this trend line here, and the next obvious trend line resistance would be a pretty nice looking trend line up here, actually, in about 38 area. I'm thinking after this pullback, we will likely see that. All right, looking at copper, on HG, no current divergence. Obviously, this has been some seriously spiky action on the daily the last 3 days. Looking at the bigger picture chart, there's not an awful lot to say to call this one way or the other in pattern terms. I would note that we're getting a worrying move down below the 200 EMA at 4.29, which has been which has been support for about 3 months. We could go lower. Partially that depends on the dollar, but I'll be coming to that next. All right, GDX, no current divergence, but a retest of this low could set some up on the RSI 5. GDXJ, the same, and we've got a short-term RSI 14 buy signal fixed on GDX, but not on GDXJ. All right, let's have a look at bonds and US dollar. And bonds, we're breaking up slightly over this declining resistance, and I'm thinking we might see a decent rally here. Why? Well, I'll come to that on the TNX chart. Short term, we've got a weak 60-minute sell signal fixed. On US dollar, we had this big spike up on the election, and this actually took us through a big resistance trend line, which we'll be talking a lot more about on the bigger picture chart. So this is opening up the upside quite a lot. So also, we had a whole raft of RSI 5 daily sell signals and buy signals supporting a reversal on the dollar here, and all those made target before that spike. So we've lost them all now. So we will see how that goes. But I'm thinking the dollar might go considerably higher. How high? Well, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed on the daily. We haven't actually had an awful lot of those, but these do tend to make target. It only has 2 on this chart, which isn't really a statistical universe, but they both make target. And I'm thinking this might go lower, but we've got daily middle band support in the 103.91 area, and more importantly, we broke over this big resistance trend line. Now, back at the lows here, I was positing that this formation of this beautiful trend line here might mean that we would see a move up into this trend line here. So we got to it, we're just short, and then we went through it. This could easily, there's no pattern target higher, and this was not a bull flag, it's way too large. But nonetheless, this has opened the road potentially to go higher, and I've got the top trend line I've got here, which could be in play, is up here at about 109.5. We will see. But I'm hesitant to call a reversal here. We do have the weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed. Retest that high again. Could become... Yeah, actually, no, that's a full sell signal brewing. We will see how it goes. Or I'd like the second high to touch the 70 level on RSI really. So that would run us up a little higher. Looking at Euro, RSI 14 buy signal fixed, but the RSI 5 one made target. GBP USD, the RSI 5-1 made target. USD JPY, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. The RSI 5-1 actually didn't make target, which was the only one USD CAD, RSI 5 sell signal made target. Australian dollar, RSI 5 sell signal made target, and so did the RSI 14 one actually. And NZ, RSI 14 one made target, and the RSI 5 one made target as well, and a buy signal which has also reached the possible near miss target. I'm liking the dollar potentially to go higher here. We will see how it goes. I don't have a pattern target higher, but we've certainly opened the door with the break of that trend line. We will see. All right, looking at TYX, obviously the last 3 months we've been forming what looks like a bull flag. And if we look at TNX, we've broken back above the monthly middle band, which I've got at 41.5. On the weekly chart, we had a buy signal, which has now made target. But more importantly, we do have a flag here. I've drawn in a potential flag resistance trend line. Here it is on the daily chart, and this is us making the target here. Now we've got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed and an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. I'm expecting to see a decent rally here on bonds while that plays out, but after that, this is a bull flag. Normally, it would break up and it would retest the high. And actually, we've got a very good example of this on Solana. So I'm just going to. I don't usually show the those charts on. Hang on, I don't really usually show the crypto charts on these. I do crypto separately. But let's have a quick look at that. Crypto and Solana daily chart. All right, here we had a beautiful flag, very similar, reached the high, sell signals, and then we saw a decent pullback, and then it went up, broke up from the bull flag and made the target. That's what bull flags tend to do. And there's no particular reason to think it's going to do anything different on bonds. I wrote a post today on bonds, by the way, on Bigger Picture and so on and so forth. But I was talking about this flag and saying that likely this is a precursor to us going up and retesting 49.97. Have a look at that post, and we will see how it goes. But I'm liking the upside here, and this is actually part of what I described as the most interesting economic story of the next few years, which is what happens with the bond markets and the very large levels of government debts on Western governments all around the world. It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out. But the constraint on the US government here is that if we go, we've got this year, they paid about 1.1 trillion in interest, which was an average interest rate of 3%. Obviously, if it starts heading up to 4%, that's another, the national debt is 37 trillion, so that's another $370 billion, and another percent over that, that's another $370 billion just in interest that needs to be found every year. This is going to be a big constraint on government policy, as it is already in policy in a number of other countries. And if you lose, and you also need to run policies which make the bond market think that you have some plan to actually repay them all the money that they've lent you. If they lose confidence in that, your interest rate starts going up, and you start having to find an awful lot of money. The Brits are in this situation, really a lot of the Europeans, and the US is also in this situation. Japan actually has left the situation so far behind that it's hard to imagine a situation where they could repay all their debt. They haven't gone bust yet, but honestly, I think it's just a matter of time. I don't think that's going to happen in the US, but I think it's going to require some belt tightening. And it might actually mean that Trump is the first Republican president since Nixon, who has a term of office where the percentage of debt as GDP, as part of GDP, actually falls. And that's because actually it can't go much higher. And his back has been, by all of his predecessors, of whom, of course, he was one, his back is up against the wall with the mountain of debt that's already been accumulated. We will see, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it plays out. All right, let's have a look at the other commodities. KC, breaking higher. I'm liking the upside here, but I've got a lot more to say about this on the daily chart, so I'll wait for that. SB, this looks like a bullish triangle. That could change if we break down below triangle support, which is fairly close to, and I've got that in the 2160 area. CC, kind of a spiky move up. Got a kind of channel here. I'm thinking the obvious next target is a retest of this high in the 7340 area. Looking at CT, lovely looking double bottom here. Hasn't broken up yet, or at least hasn't broken up significantly. Broken up very slightly maybe, but if we see a sustained break above it, then the target for that would be up in about the 73.50 to 74 area. Looking at wheat, this has been trading sideways while the other two have been going up, and I'm thinking this is likely to find a bid sooner or later, as long as it finds a bid while they're still going up. Corn has come back up and retested this high as expected. Weak 60-minute sell signal fixed, but not showing any sign of playing out so far. Soy, this double bottom that I've been watching, has broken up with a target in the 105.6 to 106 area. And at the moment, there is nothing to suggest that isn't going to make that target. So lumber could be topping out here, 60-minute sell signal fixed, possible little level top, setting up a retest of the monthly pivot at 569.67. Thinking that might happen, but not thinking there is anything on the much bigger picture suggesting this is about to reverse hard. On live cattle, we've got a little level top here, which is broken down and is inching its way towards the target, which is in about the 180.5 to 182 area. Might make that target. Certainly it's not showing any enthusiasm in either direction at the moment. Lean hogs slightly below the monthly pivot, no current positive divergence, could go lower. If we do go lower, I'd be wondering about a test of this big support level and possible head and shoulder neckline, which is in about the 78 area. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture as well. KC, I've got a lovely support trend line here for a channel, and I'm wondering whether that might hold and take us towards channel resistance. If so, that would be a lot higher. I've got that up in about the 290 to 3 area. So I'm wondering if this is actually going to start doing something very interesting. No current divergence on the daily chart. Sugar looks like a bullish triangle. If it breaks down, then it's probably going to just turn into a bull flag. Either way, I'm expecting this to be leading up to a retest of this high here at 23.64. CC, weak RSI 5 sell signal is fixed. We went through the obvious triangle resistance, if this is a triangle, but I think my lean is this is probably breaking up towards a retest this high here in the 89.84 area. On wheat, nothing really to say apart from this could be forming an IHS, but really if it is an IHS, it needs to start making tracks to the upside soon, because the right shoulder is already very disproportionately larger than the left shoulder. And the more that becomes the case, the less likely it is this is an IHS in progress. Looking at corn, nice move higher, triangle broke up, made the target. So leaning towards probably going higher, but we have actually made the target for the time being. We haven't made that target on soy, though. We had an RSI 5 buy signal and an RSI 14 buy signal. Sorry, I've forgotten last week to change that, and it's going to annoy me, so bear with me a moment while I do it. So this is only a weak buy signal. I'm mainly looking at the RSI 5s, but I would say that we haven't made the double bottom target yet, and I would normally expect that target to be made. So after it's made, then maybe we'd be looking at something different. But I would say that this is a potential level bottom. This could potentially take grains a lot higher. On cotton, RSI 5 buy signals reached the possible near miss target. Nice double bottom here. It's only just starting to break up. If it can get up to about 72 area, then I think it's got a good chance of heading off to that target. We've got some declining resistance here, and at the moment, where we've gone up and lost the buy signal because it's already reached potentially the target. So we need to see a break up through this trend line here to take this higher. Overall, could this be an IHS forming? Potentially, yes. So we shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. I will catch you guys tomorrow as always, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Catch you later.